Welcome back to Hidden Stories. This channel is a place where real-life struggles meet God's truth. Today's story is a powerful reminder that obedience is not always easy, but it is always worth it. If you've ever been hurt, betrayed, or tempted to fight back, this message is for you. Sit back, watch closely, and let God speak to your heart. Pain has a voice. Betrayal has a sound. And revenge. Revenge whispers softly to the heart when no one else is listening. When someone wounds us deeply, when trust is broken and dignity is stripped away, the natural response is to strike back. To return the hurt. To balance the scales with anger. We convince ourselves that retaliation is strength. That silence is weakness. That forgiveness means letting the offender win. But what if God's way is different? What if true power is not found in revenge, but in restraint? What if victory is not proven by how loudly we fight back, but by how faithfully we obey? This is a story of pain that demands a response. A choice that tests the heart. And the quiet courage it takes to follow God. Even when revenge feels justified, do not repay evil for evil. Romans 12 verse 17.
This project is finally coming together. Every late night, every revision. It's paying off. I knew if we stayed consistent, something good would come out of this. Mark is going to be proud of us. He trusted me with this responsibility, and I didn't want to let him down. We talked about building something honest, something that reflects integrity, teamwork, and excellence. I remember when we first started. We had nothing but an idea and faith that it would work. Now look at it. Organized, clean, complete. This isn't just a project, it's proof that patience and collaboration still matter. If Mark were here right now, he'd probably say, "Daniel, take a break, you've earned it." But this matters too much to rush. Excellence honors God and honors the people who believe in you. I'm grateful. Grateful for the opportunity, for the team, for trust. Not everyone gets this kind of chance. I won't take it lightly. I still can't believe how everything turned out. Mark didn't submit the project as a team effort at all. He submitted it under his name alone, presented it as if he carried the entire vision from start to finish, and management didn't question it. They praised him publicly and rewarded him with the promotion. That's painful. Everyone in this office knows Daniel invested just as much, if not more, time and effort. He was the one staying late, fixing problems no one else wanted to handle, and making sure the project didn't fall apart. It feels wrong that his contribution just disappeared. What? No. That can't be true. We planned everything together. We agreed to submit it as a team. Mark promised. Management described Mark as exceptional, self-driven, and visionary. They said his work showed leadership and personal sacrifice. Hearing that made me uncomfortable, because those words fit Daniel just as much, if not more. I wonder if Daniel even knows yet. Discovering something like this doesn't just hurt professionally, it cuts deep emotionally. When betrayal comes from someone you trusted, it shakes how you see people, and even how you see yourself. Mark looked me in the eye and thanked me for believing in him. He told me we would celebrate together when it was done. I defended him when people doubted him. I trusted him with my work, my ideas, and my loyalty. How does someone take all of that and erase you like you never mattered? I gave everything to this project, my time, my strength, my peace. I skipped rest, ignored my family, and sacrificed my comfort because I believed in something bigger than myself. And now the reward went to the very person who watched me carry the weight. This hurts more than losing the promotion. It hurts because the wound came from someone I trusted. And now I'm standing at a crossroads, between anger and obedience, revenge and restraint. God, I don't know how to respond. Every part of me wants to fight back. But I need your wisdom more than my emotions. Mark. I've replayed this moment in my head more times than I can count because I needed to be sure I wasn't misunderstanding anything. I needed to believe that there was another explanation, something that would make this make sense. But I just heard it myself. You submitted the project alone. You accepted praise that belonged to both of us. So I need you to look at me and tell me the truth. Why would you take credit for work we built together?
Daniel, this is how the real world works. Opportunities don't wait for fairness, and success doesn't always come from sharing credit. I did what I had to do to move forward. This world rewards the bold, not the patient.
The bold? Is that what you call rewriting the story? I trusted you. I stayed late nights fixing problems you didn't want to face. I defended you when doubts were raised. I believed that integrity still mattered, that loyalty still meant something. And you watched me do all of that, knowing you planned to erase my name.
I didn't erase you. I just didn't mention you. There's a difference. Management only cares about results, not about who sacrificed the most. If I hadn't stepped up, someone else would have taken the opportunity. I wasn't going to be left behind.
So your advancement was worth my dignity? You didn't just take a promotion, Mark, you took my trust. You took something I can't easily rebuild. Success gained this way may look impressive on paper, but it leaves a stain on the heart.
You're being emotional. You should be thinking strategically. People don't get ahead by waiting for fairness. They get ahead by acting. If you want to survive in this system, you have to learn to play the game.
I understand ambition. I understand wanting more. What I don't understand is how someone can climb a ladder by stepping on the very hands that helped lift them up. I didn't expect perfection from you, but I expected honesty. I could respond the way this world teaches. I could expose you, retaliate, and repay this pain with pain. Every part of me wants to. But there's something stronger pulling at my heart, something higher than revenge.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know yet. But I do know this, what you gain through deception will always demand a price. And what I choose next will define who I become. I trusted him. I didn't just trust his words, I trusted his heart. I believed loyalty still mattered in a world that keeps proving otherwise. And with one selfish decision, he destroyed something inside me. I gave him my ideas, my time, my effort, and my loyalty without hesitation. I carried the weight when things became difficult. I stayed silent when recognition was due. And now the same hands that shook mine in gratitude are the ones that pushed me aside. This isn't just anger, it's humiliation. It's realizing that the person I defended so fiercely never planned to defend me. It's knowing I was honest in a system that rewards shortcuts. My mind is screaming for justice. My heart is demanding retaliation. Every thought tells me to expose him, to confront management, to return the pain the way it was given to me. Revenge feels justified. It feels deserved. But then there's another voice, quieter, but heavier. A voice reminding me that anger, if left unchecked, can turn me into the very thing that wounded me. That responding in rage may satisfy the moment, but destroy my peace. God, I don't want to become bitter. I don't want this betrayal to rewrite who I am. But right now, obedience feels harder than revenge. Forgiveness feels unfair. And restraint feels like loss. I'm standing at a crossroads, between reacting like the world expects and responding like you command. I don't know which step I'll take yet. But I know this anger is powerful enough to change me forever.
Daniel, you've barely said a word since you walked in. Your body is here, but your heart feels far away. Talk to me. What happened? The moment you walked in, I could feel the weight you were carrying. You were here, but something is staring at you from the inside. You don't have it to protect me from your pain. Talk to me. What happened?
He repaid my loyalty with betrayal. Someone I trusted, someone I stood beside and believed in, took everything we worked for and presented it as his own. In one decision, he erased my contribution and rewarded himself with what we were supposed to share. I defended him when people questioned his intentions. I stayed late nights while he went home early. I trusted his word because I believed integrity still meant something. And now I feel foolish, like my honesty made me vulnerable.
That kind of betrayal cuts deeply, Daniel. It hurts more when the vote comes from someone you trusted with your effort and your heart. Your pain is real, and you're allowed to feel it.
I'm angry, Sarah. I'm angry because I did everything right and still lost. Part of me wants to expose him, to make sure everyone knows the truth. I want him to feel what I'm feeling.
I understand that desire. But before you act on it, I need you to ask yourself something: will revenge heal you, or will it only deepen the void? Sometimes the hardest obedience is choosing restraint when retaliation feels justified.
It feels unfair to stay silent. It feels like letting him win. And right now, obedience feels heavier than anger. I don't want bitterness to grow in me, but I don't know how to release it.
You don't have to have all the answers tonight. But you do have to protect your heart. God sees what was hidden. He honors truth, even when people don't.
I don't want this betrayal to change who I am. Help me choose the right response, even if it costs me.
Daniel, there's something I need to remind you of, not because it's easy to hear, but because it's true. The Bible teaches us that we should not repay evil for evil. God calls us to respond differently, especially when the hurt feels undeserved.
That sounds holy when it's spoken calmly in a quiet room. It sounds like wisdom when there's no wound involved. But right now, it feels unfair. It feels like I'm being asked to carry the weight of someone else's wrongdoing without any relief.
You're right, it does feel unfair. God never pretended obedience would always feel just in the moment. But his instructions aren't meant to excuse the wrong done to you, they're meant to protect you from becoming consumed by it. Repaying evil with evil only spreads the damage, it never heals it.
If I don't respond, it feels like I'm agreeing with what he did. It feels like silence gives him permission to move on while I stay here nursing the wound. I don't want to become bitter, but I also don't want injustice to go unanswered.
Listen to this: do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. God isn't saying there won't be justice. He's saying justice belongs to him. When we take revenge, we step into a role we were never meant to carry.
So you're saying that choosing not to retaliate doesn't mean I approve of what he did, it means I'm trusting God to see what I can't fix. That I'm choosing peace over pride, even when my pride is wounded.
Yes, forgiveness isn't denial, it's surrender. It's releasing the right to get even and allowing God to handle what we cannot. And sometimes, obedience looks like loss before it looks like victory.
I want to believe that. I really do. But letting go feels like letting him win.
No, Daniel, letting go means refusing to let his sin write your story. God's way doesn't always make sense, but it always leads to life, okay?
God, help me. I don't want to disobey you, but this hurts more than I know how to explain. I'm trying to hold on to your word, but my emotions are louder than my faith right now. I did what I believed was right. I walked in integrity when no one was watching. And now I'm paying for it. I don't understand why obedience feels so costly, or why silence feels heavier than retaliation. Every part of me wants to defend myself and prove that I was wronged. You ask us to trust you with justice, but my heart is restless. I keep replaying the conversation, imagining what I could say, what I could expose, how I could make the truth undeniable. Revenge feels like relief, but I know it's not your way. I don't want to become bitter. I don't want anger to reshape my character or harden my heart. But forgiveness feels like a burden I don't yet know how to carry. I need your strength because mine is failing. If obedience is the path you're asking me to walk, then walk with me through it. Teach me how to release this pain without losing myself. Guard my heart when my thoughts wander toward retaliation. Give me peace where there is turmoil. Give me restraint where there is anger. And remind me that you see what was hidden, even if the world never does. Daniel, before we talk about what you should do next, I want you to understand something clearly. Forgiveness does not excuse wrongdoing. It does not pretend the pain didn't happen, and it does not erase accountability. Forgiveness releases your heart from poison that would otherwise destroy you from the inside. That's what I'm struggling with, Pastor. I know what Scripture says, and I want to obey God. But part of me feels like forgiving means letting Him walk away untouched while I carry the wound alone. It feels like justice is being delayed, or worse, ignored. I understand that struggle. Many people think forgiveness is weakness, but in reality, it takes more strength than revenge ever will. When you forgive, you're not saying what was done is acceptable, you're saying it will no longer control you. You're placing justice in God's hands, where it belongs. My anger feels justified. I trusted Him, and He betrayed that trust. Every time I think about what He gained from my silence, it makes my chest tighten. I'm afraid that if I don't act, I'll be overlooked forever. Listen to this. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Leave room for God's wrath. God is not blind to injustice. He sees motives, actions, and consequences far beyond what we can measure. Forgiveness doesn't cancel truth, it protects your soul. So forgiveness is not about forgetting, it's about freedom. Exactly. Freedom from bitterness. Freedom from replaying the offense over and over. Freedom to grow without carrying resentment into your future. The longer you hold on to anger, the more power the offense has over you. I don't want anger to define me. I want my response to honor God, even if it costs me recognition. And God honors obedience in ways that may not be immediate, but they are always meaningful. Choose forgiveness, Daniel. Not because it's easy, but because your heart is worth protecting. Daniel, I want you to hear this slowly, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Romans chapter 12, verse 17, says, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil." This instruction is simple, but it is not shallow. It goes against our instincts, our pride, and our desire for immediate justice. When you choose not to repay evil with evil, you are not denying the pain or pretending the wrongdoing didn't happen. You are choosing a higher response. You are stepping out of the cycle of harm and refusing to let another person's sin shape your character. The verse doesn't end with silence or passivity. It continues by reminding us to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. That means living with integrity even when integrity is costly. When you obey this command, you are making room for God to handle justice in ways you never could. So obedience here isn't about losing, it's about trusting God to see what I can't control. It's about believing that justice delayed in my hands doesn't mean justice denied in His. That's exactly right. When you obey, God steps in. He sees motives. He sees secrets. He balances accounts far more accurately than anger ever could. Your responsibility is obedience. His responsibility is justice. I still feel the pain, but I don't want my response to betray my faith. I want to walk away from this with my heart intact. And that is how victory often begins, not with loud revenge, but with quiet obedience. Trust God with the outcome, Daniel. He has never failed to defend the innocent. I won't fight darkness with darkness. I've thought about every possible way I could respond, every argument I could make, every action that would satisfy my anger. And for a moment, retaliation felt powerful. It felt like justice. But I see now that responding with the same darkness that wounded me would only multiply it. I was wronged, and that truth doesn't change just because I choose restraint. But I refuse to let betrayal reshape my character or poison my future. I won't become the very thing that hurt me. I will not allow anger to dictate my choices or revenge to define my legacy. I choose obedience over impulse. I choose peace over pride. I choose to trust God with justice, even when my emotions demand control. This decision doesn't erase the pain, but it frees me from carrying it. If light is the only thing that drives out darkness, then I will walk in the light, even when it costs me recognition, applause, or immediate vindication. God sees. And that is enough. I won't fight darkness with darkness. I will respond with faith.
I can't sleep. No matter how tired my body is, my mind won't rest. The silence keeps reminding me of what I did, of what I took and how I took it. I told myself it was just business. I told myself everyone does it. I convinced myself that success would quiet my conscience. But every promotion email, every congratulatory message, only makes the guilt louder. I did him wrong. I looked at his loyalty and used it as a stepping stone. I watched him trust me, and I chose myself. Now that trust echoes in my chest like a debt I can't repay. I thought winning would feel like freedom. Instead, it feels like a prison. I'm surrounded by praise, but I'm alone with my thoughts. Every success feels borrowed, and every quiet moment feels like judgment. What if the truth comes out? What if the foundation I built this on collapses? Even worse, what if it never does, and I have to live with knowing who I became to get here? Daniel walked away without fighting me. That should have felt like relief, but it didn't. It felt like mercy. And now I'm not sure which is heavier, the guilt of what I did, or the silence he left behind. This can't be happening. If this goes to management like this, everything I worked for is over.
Your data references are misaligned. If you submit it this way, the entire report will be flagged.
Why are you helping me? After everything I did to you, after the credit I took, after the silence you kept, why would you step in now?
I asked myself that same question before walking over here. Every part of my flesh wanted to walk away and let you face the consequences alone. But I realized something: responding with bitterness would only chain me to the hurt you caused. I'm helping you because God helped me when I didn't deserve it. When I was broken, angry, and tempted to repay evil with evil, He showed me mercy instead of judgment. And I can't claim to follow Him while refusing to reflect that mercy.
I don't deserve this, Daniel. I know what I did was wrong. I've been carrying it every night. Your silence was louder than any confrontation.
This doesn't erase what happened. Kindness doesn't cancel truth. But it does break the cycle. I chose not to fight darkness with darkness, and this is what that decision looks like. If you adjust this formula and reattach the original data source, the error will resolve. Make sure it reflects the collaborative timeline accurately.
I don't know how to repay you.
You don't repay me. You do what's right from here on. That's enough.
I was wrong. I betrayed you. There's no excuse strong enough to justify what I did. I saw your loyalty, your hard work, and your trust, and I chose to use it for my own gain. I told myself it was ambition, but deep down I knew it was selfishness. I replayed every night, the moment I submitted the project alone, the praise I accepted, the silence I kept when your name should have been spoken. Every compliment felt stolen. Every promotion email felt heavier than the last. I've been living with a success that doesn't feel like success at all. Your kindness yesterday shattered me. I expected anger. I deserved rejection. But you helped me when you didn't have to. That kindness forced me to face the truth I'd been running from, that I gained everything and lost my integrity. I don't know if you can forgive me, and I won't demand it. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry. I'm ready to tell the truth, even if it costs me everything I gained.
What you did hurt me deeply. I won't pretend it didn't. But I chose a long time ago not to repay evil with evil. Forgiveness doesn't erase the pain, but it frees both of us from it. I release you, Mark. Not because what you did was acceptable, but because I refuse to let bitterness take root in my heart. Do what's right now. Let truth finish the work that grace started.
I need to speak the truth. I submitted a project as if it were solely my work, when in fact it was a joint effort with Daniel. I accepted credit I did not earn, and I took advantage of someone who trusted me completely. I want to apologize for my actions, and I want to make sure Daniel receives the recognition he rightfully deserves.
Mark. It takes courage to admit wrongdoing, and even more to take responsibility in front of others. Your confession matters, but it doesn't erase the impact of your choices.
I understand that. I know this does not make up for the betrayal, and I am prepared to face the consequences. I want to do what is right, even if it costs me professionally or personally. Daniel's integrity should be honored, because his loyalty and effort never went unnoticed by me, and they shouldn't be overlooked by anyone else.
Daniel, your integrity speaks louder than talent. You remained professional and faithful, even when you were wronged. That is the kind of character that this organization values above all else. Thank you. But I didn't do this for recognition. I did it because it was the right thing to do. God has always been my witness.
Daniel. Thank you for showing me what true integrity and forgiveness look like. I hope one day I can reflect even a fraction of the grace you've shown me.
Let this be a reminder, talent opens doors, but character keeps them open. Today, both of you have been tested, and integrity has prevailed. Daniel, over the past few weeks, we've watched how you handled a very difficult situation. You were wronged, and yet you maintained your professionalism, integrity, and patience. That kind of character is rare and invaluable. Today, we want to formally recognize your effort, not just for the project, but for the example you've set for this team. Your dedication, honesty, and restraint have not gone unnoticed. You've shown that true success is measured not only by results, but by how one handles adversity. I lost the desire for revenge, but gained something far greater, peace. Peace that comes from doing what is right, trusting God with justice, and refusing to let anger define me. The satisfaction of victory isn't in punishing the one who wronged me, it's in honoring the one who never fails to see the truth. I could have chosen retaliation, and it would have felt justified in the moment. But choosing integrity, patience, and faithfulness has given me something the world cannot take away. It has given me freedom from bitterness and the assurance that God's justice is perfect, even when I cannot see it fully. Congratulations, Daniel. Your heart, your character, and your faith have earned this recognition. May this be the first of many victories that honor who you truly are.
Daniel, I've watched you navigate everything, the betrayal, the temptation to retaliate, the long nights of struggle, and I have to tell you, I am so proud of you. You didn't just survive the storm, you walked through it with faith, patience, and integrity. That is rare, and it's beautiful to witness.
Thank you, Sarah. It wasn't easy. I felt the anger burning inside me. I felt the urge to fight back, to expose what was done and reclaim what I thought was taken from me. Obedience hurt, honestly. It hurt in ways I didn't think I could endure. But I realized something important. Disobedience, giving in to that anger, would have cost me far more. It would have cost my peace, my character, my witness, and ultimately, my heart.
Daniel, he saw it in you, the internal struggle, the nights of prayer, the quiet moments when only God knew your heart. Choosing God's way instead of the world's way takes courage beyond measure. And look at what He has done, He honored your obedience. He restored what was broken and even gave you more than you could have planned on your own.
Yes. It's incredible. The promotion, the recognition, the peace in my heart, none of it would have come if I had surrendered to bitterness or demanded vengeance. God's timing, His justice, and His mercy. It's all greater than I imagined. I see now that true victory doesn't come from defeating others, but from walking faithfully, even when the path is painful and unclear.
I'm proud of the man you are, Daniel. The man who chooses faith over fury, patience over pride, and love over resentment. That is a man who truly wins in every way that matters.
I lost the satisfaction of revenge, but I gained something far greater: peace, freedom, and a heart that can continue to trust God no matter what life throws my way. Walking away from the temptation to fight back was the hardest decision of my life. Every moment of restraint felt like a battle in itself. But choosing obedience over vengeance, choosing integrity over pride, it gave me a peace that nothing else could. It reminded me that God's way is always higher, always better, and always faithful, even when it's painful.
And the beauty of it is this, Daniel, by walking in faith instead of anger, you've not only protected your own heart, you've shown others the power of grace. You've given Mark, and everyone watching, a living example of what God's mercy can look like when it is allowed to shape our choices.
When you refuse to repay evil for evil, you step out of the endless cycle of pain and vengeance. You release yourself from the chains of bitterness and leave justice in the hands of God, the one who sees every hidden motive, every secret action, and every heartache that weighs on you. It is not weakness to withhold retaliation. It is courage, the courage to trust that God's timing is perfect, that His justice is certain, and that His mercy is greater than any wound inflicted by man. Choose obedience over revenge. When anger tempts you, when betrayal wounds you, remember, your response defines your character, not the offense. God sees. God judges. God restores. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, remember that choosing God's way is never wasted. May peace guard your heart, and may obedience lead you to restoration. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more faith-filled stories.